Good morning, friends. Among the stars and the inky black. It's been a while, and I believe we covered a fair bit. Today, I believe I'd like to continue that. Perhaps. I've been a pilot for years now. I've traveled to the heart of the galaxy. Twice. 3 times. 3 times. I've been to Colonia several times. I've made billions of credits, and I've owned near every ship in the game at least once. I've fought Thargoids. And in some editions of this game, I've even stepped foot on planets, raided bases, helped people. I've been a vanguard defense for the miners in certain systems. I've rescued people from burning starports. I've done everything that this game has offered me. And yet, for the life of me, I keep coming back, because this game is beautiful. It is, dare I say, one of a kind. I realize that there are many space games out there, and that many of them are very good and fun. But to me, they'll never hold a candle to what Elite Dangerous is, or has at least aspired to be in some capacity. I've contemplated retiring from this game, and it just period. I've been elite. Elite in trade, elite in exploration, and elite in combat on one of my accounts. I've done it all. And it's not to say that I don't enjoy this game. I do. I love it to death. It's one of my favorites.
For access, make your way to landing pad number 16.
I just don't know what to do anymore.
Enjoy the ride, Commander.
I'm not sure what to do anymore. I've flown and flown and flown, and I just need something new. The problem is, Starfield is not a game that's available on the console that I play. PlayStation, of course.
Sorgon Peters, Zulu Alpha Tango, FFC channel open. Submit a request to Mr. Dawkins' facility, Commander. Request denied. Decrease range and submit again.
I can't say that I fancy playing No Man's Sky again. I in truth, I don't. That is not a game I wish to touch anymore.
Okay, Commander. Make your way to
I've played that game. I've seen every planet type there is to see. I've seen nearly every biological life form there is to see on that game. And with the advent of creating ships, there's no real desire to go out and ship hunt, because you could just make your own now. I have living ships, I have sentinel ships, I have everything in that game.
Landing gear deployed.
It's boring. This game is unique in that respect, because although every ship is the same, you can build them so many more different ways.
Landing operation complete. Dispatching ground.
There's no particular meta, there's different metas. Unlike No Man's Sky, where you just... I'm not trashing the game. It's a wonderful game. It's boring to me. And that's the main reason I don't like playing it. It's too colorful, too cartoony for me. So, here's where I come to ask the question. You are my passengers, inadvertently. What do I do? What does this old pilot do? Do I continue? Or do I really retire in full? I suppose coming here is more of a rant than anything else. An inquiring rant.
Detach confirmed. Observe queuing system.
Please
Exiting
put your, put your thought in the comments when you come to watch this later. I'm just not sure what to do anymore with this game. I don't really have friends that play this game, although I have plenty of friends. None of them play this game. Which is disheartening, because it's, everything's better with friends. Really and truly. Everything is truly better with friends. As a streamer, when I do stream, I'm waiting for Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm, for obvious reasons. That's a game that I'm, very excited about. I can create 1,001 videos on Elden Ring. I still have a small project for Monster Hunter World, but I don't know. To me, it's a strange position to be in. With a game that you love, but you really can't play because there's nothing really you can do with it anymore. Hey, I guess when in doubt, we can always go back to Skyrim, right, guys? Sure, Todd Howard's selling another version of it. I've played it. I've played the shit out of it. And I just don't have a desire to get back to it. No, that's not saying that I wouldn't play Skyrim now, having taken a year or more away from it. I'd probably play the shit out of it. Just like I'd probably play Fallout 4 again. Modded, of course, because I'm not going to play the vanilla variants. It's been far too. It's been a while since I played both of them, but I would never stoop myself low enough to play the vanilla versions. The games are far too ingrained in my memory to actually resort to playing them normal. That's no different than Baldur's Gate. I've beaten it, and I'm playing it again. I haven't streamed it, but I've been playing it modded because I'm not going back to vanilla Baldur's Gate. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going back to a normal playthrough of it. No, it's not modded like PC and all that, where there's certain mods we just don't discuss. But it's modded enough to be enjoyable for me, you know, to where it's just a little bit more. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. I'm just kind of stuck, and I suppose I needed to come here to voice that opinion. Who knows? I might get to this station, find a ship that I feel like flying, and then bam, everything I said will have been for naught. That's just how I am sometimes. Truly, I'm a fickle creature. As I said before, you know, put your thoughts in the comments. You know, I guess to relate it, I've been hit with a writer's block, you know, for our writers in the world, or, you know, the creativity block. Just, I don't know quite what to do with this game. Because inevitably this is a game where you can roleplay whatever you want, if you're into that. Or you could just play it as a game.
Landing gear deployed.
Prepare fuel. Starport services.
Engaging docking restraints. Station services are at your disposal.
Shipyard. Alright, I digress. We've done the Sidewinder. We've done the Eagle. We've played with the Hauler. The Adder, Imperial Eagle. All these ships have varied purposes. You can play into them. Or not. They're all extremely fun. If you're willing to put the work into playing with them. The Great MK2 will always be one of my favorites because it has a coffee pot visible in the cockpit. So, hands down, best ship outside of the Anaconda for obvious reasons. Look at this fucking absolute unit. Yes. This ship is just so god-awful ugly. Imperial Courier. It's a cool ship. It's weird. I don't know. That's just a weird ship, and you need ranks to be able to fly this thing in the Imperial Navy, and it's just like, not really? I don't know. It's just a strange ship. I flew it. I don't know. Anyway, fuck it. Let me kid an adder real quick, and let's play around with it for a sec. Okay. So, reading the description, we have a pretty solid understanding of what this thing can do. Compact, adaptable ship. The adder is larger cargo hold than other ships of similar size, and its base jump range is over 30 light years. You'll have to upgrade it for that, which makes it a viable choice for explorers. The ship can also hold its own in a dogfight when properly outfitted. So, this is a two-seater. They're the first two-seater in the game, which means you can, in essence, have a multi-crew. You know, obviously one other person. It's maneuverable enough to, but you have to look at the wording. That last sentence. It can hold its own in a dogfight when properly outfitted. So, you're not going to be zooming around, tearing things apart like you would perhaps the Eagle, or, say, the Imperial Eagle, which is right after this, which is quite literally the same as the other Eagle, except it's got a medium weapon slot on the top instead of another small. Makes it vastly more powerful combat-wise. I digress. We're here to play with the adder. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and buy this one, store the other ship. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the adder, since I am here to stream. So, what I hate about this ship immediately is that your pilot seat is not center. That's just a personal thing. I like being in the center of the ship. But, you're on the right side, so this is clearly, whoever designed this was, from the European, from the East or something. Definitely not American. I digress. Alright. So let's take a look at this ship in its entirety. We know that this can be made into an Explorer with its 30 base light year jump range. So let's play into that. Let's go ahead and see what we could possibly do with this machine that makes it so good at jumping. Alright, off the bat, we know we need a Class A frameshift drive, which is going to bump up our jump speed maximum from 10.28 to 22.16 light years. That's a pretty significant jump, but not outside the scope of what you would feasibly be able to attain with any other ship. We obviously want lightweight alloy because that's extra weight. The power plant. We could feasibly jump to a 3D, but let's go ahead and pull all the optional shit off, like this shield generator. We really don't need that if we're exploring. I don't care what any of you say. Shields are useless when exploring. It's just added weight and added heat that your ship does not need. So, okay. Internals are out. Hard points. This thing comes with a medium and 2 Class 1s. That medium is massive, okay? For a small ship, one of the cheaper small ships, being able to slap a Class 2 weapon on it is absolutely hysterical. Like, watch, I'm just going to put this gimbal for shits and giggles. This gimbal minigun is huge compared to this ship, which is funny. So, okay, we're going to sell that. We don't need the weapons or anything to that degree. I do like the top mount for it, though. That is really cool. That's really neat, too. I love the animations that the ships have when it comes to retracting or deploying your hard points. Very cool animations. No utilities. We're not really worried about that. All right. So we have a 25.45 light year jump range, getting rid of everything, with the exception of now all this. So by default, we're going to put a class 2 sensor because it's lightweight. All right. Power distributors. We don't need much, so we're just going to bring it, exchange that. Plus, class D is going to be a little bit better for the ship. 1D life support because it's lighter and it gives us more breathing time, obviously. Okay, the thrusters. And now we have the power plant. Okay, so really, right off the bat, the dealership's not lying. You can reach 30 light year jumps. There's a problem. That's the maximum. We're not doing 30 light year jumps with this ship. We're doing 27.6. That's without any sort of upgrades. That's no engineers. So it's a little misleading, but it's not. It's not lying, it's just not exactly telling the truth. Now, what's beautiful about this, use a lightweight alloy armor. You can still put heavy-duty armor, it does not affect the weight of the machine. So, you can kind of cheat your defenses a little bit. Now, we can, of course, throw some atypical, some FSD range. We could do 2 levels of this. I'm not going anymore. We're just going to cap out that right there. Alright, so now let's take a look at our jump range. Bam, 38.5. Is that 38? Yes, 38.52. Or, translating for us, 34.06 light year jumps current. That's awesome. I think this ship can achieve somewhere in the ballpark of like 42 light year jumps maximum. I think that's where it goes. 42, 45. That's bare bones like I have it now. If you kit it out for anything, it's going to obviously drop significantly given how small this ship is. So, it's decent, but it's not like, oh my god. No, for an Explorer though, it's probably the cheapest Explorer ship you're going to get your hands on. Hands down. This ship would be perfect for courier runs. No cargo, just courier runs. You slap a small fuel scoop on this, maybe a few extra fuel tanks. Keep you at somewhere about 30. If you're doing base jumps, it'll bring you to about 25 light year jumps, but you'd have a shit ton of fuel and a fuel scoop. If you're augmented, it'd probably drop you down to like 37, 38 light year jumps with a shit ton of fuel. So, take that how you will. But it would be perfect for courier information runs. No cargo, just pure data. Run it, get money, come right back. So the Imperial Eagle. So I don't want to get this ship, and the only reason I don't is because realistically, it's the same thing as an Eagle, but with a medium class weapon slot. So I'm gonna skip over it because I have standards. Okay, Viper MK. It is also one of the big combat ships that you get. Sorry, give me a second here. Okay, just had to make sure that our stuff is still running. On the stream, information is key here. Okay. A little bit of latency, but that's fine. I can work with that. Alright, so the Viper MK3. And hello to me, since I'm now watching. We're gonna buy this. We're gonna kit it out, all that good jazz. I'm gonna explain to you what this ship's capable of. You could read what it is doable for. It's capable of a little bit more than that. As it is a Falcon DeLacy ship, it comes with... Oh, hello, by the way, other viewer. Pleasure to meet you. Glad you decided to jump on. Okay. Oh boy. Hey. Hello and welcome everybody. Got me in the middle of playing around with a couple ships. Just kind of kitting them out, and I'm making a review on all the ships of Elite Dangerous. So kind of going through all the different ships. The ones that I can get on this current account. I don't have very many Navy ranks in either the Federation or Imperial ranks, so I'm not going to be able to do a lot of those ships, if any at all, really. But I do have some good insights for them. So, because I have flown them before in previous, in my previous account. Anyway, because I put in the work. Alright, so, this ship, the Viper MK3, is a combat ship first and foremost. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have just kept that on. So the infinity signs? Oh yeah. Alright. So, when it comes to a combat ship, power is everything. You don't need much in the way of jump range, you just need enough to get the fuck out of where you are. So we're going to put an A, because after we kit it out, our jump range is going to be horrendous with this particular ship. You'll want Class A thrusters, obviously. Life support can drop to a 2D for the little bit of lightweight and extra breathing room, should you need it, or should you be able to actually get it. Okay, sensors, we can go to 3D. They're not that important. They're useful, but not important. So, the first block that we notice with this ship is it has horrendous fuel capacity. Horrendous. And the jump range is not good. So, unlike most Falcon DeLacy ships, this particular ship is subpar at the Jack of all trades thing. So, you're making this as a combat ship. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is all you're doing with it. With the optionals, realistically, bump your shield as high as it'll go. And you could put a 3A for the maximum and optimal strength. Like that, you could withstand a fair few shots. Of course, again, that's another expenditure, but we're going to do it. Okay. So we have a Class 3A shield generator. You could fit the rest with cargo racks. Or, since we have a military compartment, definitely do want to do a hull reinforcement. Hands down, get the D version because E's are retarded. There's no point in getting them. They're weaker and they weigh more. So just get a 3D here. Okay. When it comes to this, if you need to be collecting parts, go with a limpet, a collector limpet. So we can put a 1A collector limpet, and we can slap a cargo rack in the 2 slot. It's going to give us a little bit of cargo. Or conversely, you could swap to put the cargo rack here, where you get a chunky 8. And you could put the 2 as the armor slot. I think we have, yes, we do have hull reinforcements here. So you do that instead. Put the hull reinforcement there, and put a full class 3 cargo rack here. Okay. So with that, you'll have 8 limpets that you can fire off at any given time to allow you to be able to collect whatever drops a enemy ship will have. Whether it be actual cargo or materials, which is the primary thing you're looking for is materials. But you only have 8 limpets on this build. If you swap over and get the better armor with the smaller cargo rack, you have even less limpets to play with. So you're definitely going to be using your downtime between combat to collect shit. So, I digress. Let's go to utilities. So with the utility mounts, hands down, 1-point defense turret. Why? Because if you're doing bounties in a mining zone, a lot of your mining ships deploy mines. Big shocker. You need a point defense to blow those mines up when you're flying through the minefield. This next one is iffy. You can either go with ECM, chaff launchers, or a shield booster if you want, or even a heat sink launcher. Personally, I do the ECM. Like that, you have a countermeasure to deal with unsavory lock-ons, like be it missiles, any weapon that has a lock-on. Okay, so hard points. This is the shit part, because we don't have a lot of energy left to play with. Here's how we can remedy that. Flying to aiming. So that's what we'll do. And you want your mediums to be the multi-cannons, hands down, because I am a firm believer in kinetic superiority. But anyways, your big guns need to be your damage points, obviously. So what does better than miniguns? For your small hard points, you can go pulse lasers. Look how much energy they draw, though. Okay, there's a lot of damn energy. Miniguns don't pull that much. Although it's still shit, regardless. Beams are even worse. Burst laser. Either way you go. But go ahead and load up on that pulse laser. And put it here as well. I will explain why. Okay. If you've done the work and had your... Yes, we know. If you've done the work and you've unlocked at least a few of your engineers, you've unlocked an overcharged power plant. Which, guess what? Okay, well, we can't do that, but what we can do is max out the first level. So, let's do that. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. Yeah, everything else is going to increase more power draw. Okay, so right off the bat, there you go. One upgrade has allowed us to be able to fit a fully kitted out Viper MK3 with all the bells and whistles that we could possibly freaking want. But, look at that. We got all that energy to spare. Big numbers. Alright. So, if you didn't feel like doing the ECM, which inherently does consume energy, you could always go back to another point defense to save you a little bit of energy. It's not a ton. I wouldn't worry about it. With your core internals, obviously a higher powered power plant would be the key here. If you can't do it, drop your frame shift drive to, say, a D. It'll be enough to get you to the next system if you need. Alright? I don't think it'd be enough to actually save you the trouble, but, you know, that's what you gotta do. Alright. Your optional internals, you could always drop down a level on that shield generator, just for the sake of it. You can go to a B. That would save you a crap ton of energy. You can also do Class Cs. A Bi-Weave is going to recharge a shit ton faster than a normal C, but it also won't last as long. So it's better for hit and run tactics, or if you have a really big ship, a Bi-Weave is really cool. Like, say, the Anaconda, because I run a Bi-Weave on the Anaconda. But I also have shield boosters. Why? If I'm going to do that, I just assume go with a... Correct, yes, but the initial recharge is a lot quicker. Like, the startup to the recharge is a lot quicker than a normal shield is. So I can get to recharging a lot faster than all these other shield types. So, you could do that as well. Alright, so with all the given information that we have, and we can actually go ahead and upgrade these multi-cannons one level. You don't need a ton. Now, I don't have a shit ton of nickel, oddly, so we don't do that. We can, of course, do a few levels in hull reinforcement. And I'm only using lightweight alloys. You could, of course, put something else that's actually more armor. And since this ship is actually fairly pretty, we can do a few livery upgrades to it just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, because it's one of the few ships that you actually want to do something nice with. I, of course, went with the Blackjack paint job because it's fucking nice. Although I see there's a few that are on sale. Oh. Oh. Chrome and gold. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm game for that. And golden. Why would they put gold and golden? What the fuck's the point? Of course, the Razor series is fucking mint condition. I would recommend it. But, the snake wraps are also really nice. Really, this is up to, you as the player. What you decide to put on your ship, obviously. But I am a absolute sucker for the Blackjack livery, because it looks nice. So weapon detailing, of course, we're going with that juicy red coloration. Engines, of course, red. The theme is red here. Ship kits. I'm going to go ahead and slap on a few parts. You can, of course, do whatever you want with it. I like these. So those wings are very nice. One thing is they clip right into the ECM, which is irritating to me, but you don't have third person in the flight, so you don't really ever see it. Let's see. I do like the way those wings bring out the width of it, but these give it a more jagged appearance. Bumper. Hands down, always give it the extended bumper, because this makes it look like the Python. That's just kind of weird. That one's there. Give it the prongs. It'll look better. And then the tail. Kind of whatever you want, honestly. I normally go with this one because it gives the back end more serrated-ish appearance. I'm all about that design. Alright, and our finished product should look something. I have to remember how to do the camera controls, so give me a second here. By default. So yeah. Back to the Starboard services. Now I'm actually getting back into it. I'm enjoying myself. The Cobra MK3. So, for the price tag's feasibly very easy to get at the beginning of the game. At 300,000 credits. Sounds like a lot. You can actually get this really fast. This ship is a actual jack of all trades. It has a massive cargo hold, so you can carry a shit ton of stuff. It has 4 small class weapons. So, while not as offensively geared as the Viper, I've taken out a lot of ships with the Cobra. Don't laugh at its small size. It has an extremely good jump range if you gear it for exploration. It's still very mobile. Has a crap ton of armor. This is a tanky fucking ship. Like, you can actually irritate people with how tanky this thing is. Really good fuel tank. I can agree with the Ledger for that. It has a really good fuel tank. And, to top it all off, unlike the Viper, I believe this ship comes with a Class 4 power plant. I didn't read the thing, but we're going to go through. And this is a 2-seater as well. This one puts you on the left side of the vehicle. Really drives me insane when they do that shit. But okay. Yeah, look, a Class 4 power plant. That's big power. And this thing normally has a lot of power to spare when you're playing around with it. If you do this for exploration, you can easily get a lot of jump range with it. Let's go ahead and build it for exploration just for the shits and giggles of it. Like that I can showcase its capability without any sort of engineers. 25 right off the bat. All we had to do was swap the power plant, thrusters, and the frameshift drive. So already better than the Adder by this point in stage. Alright, so 26.2. Just out of the core internals. This is where we get our big bucks at, because that's going to bring us to 27.4. Now, while this does not actually affect the overall, it will affect our potential. Okay, so go ahead and just drop that there. Our points, we of course get... Oh, it has 2 mediums. My mistake. Okay, my mistake. This makes it more powerful than the Viper. The Viper is faster and I think a little bit more maneuverable. So, bearing that in mind, it has a lot to go on. Okay, so, that being said, we've gotten it to 27.98, which I think was still a little bit further than the ship. So, at 26.26 actual, which is only a hair bit less than the Adder for a much better ship, objectively. We go to the remote workshop and we can pop in 1 level of FSD boosting just for shits and giggles. Alright, and that 15% buff is going to be huge. 30 flat, 3202 max. You could stop there. You could stop there, because I know this ship with max FSD can actually go the distance, and it can hit 40. It can hit 45 actual jump. So you can do that, and that's without any of the Guardian boosters. And I'm talking just pure human hands alone. You can do a fair bit. Hello, by the way, to all the viewers. Just in case I didn't catch you beforehand, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Well, with me. I love every time I say that, I can see my viewership drop a little bit. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. With the cargo, with the optional internals, you have a lot of room for cargo running. When you first get this ship, I'd recommend doing cargo runs. Personally. Because with the massive amount of cargo that you do have with this ship, you can get away with a fair bit of cargo running. This should be your optimal cargo ship when you hit the hundreds of thousands of credits. Because you don't have a lot of money, but you can remedy that really quick with these class cargoes. In fact, I'll just slap, as many cargo racks as we can get here. That 16 right there trumps everything we had with the Viper, obviously. Look at that. Just in the 3-4s, we get 48 tons of cargo, or 48 units of cargo. Between the 2s, we can scrounge up a little bit extra. Bringing that, to 52. If we do just cargo, no shield, which, if you're cargo running, you don't need a shield in a small ship. I'm sorry, you don't. Get over it. Because chances are, if you're pulled over, you're going to die anyway. So, get good, I guess. 60 tons of cargo capped. That's a lot. That's 60 units of cargo. You are going to zoom across space making money with this thing. So, we can stop here. And I want to compare that with the other ship, the hauler. Storage ships, the hauler, right here. 22 tons. And we built this thing to haul as much as possible. 22 tons of cargo. And we can do 60 with this ship. So, really, if you're going to progress, and you're going to be a space trucker, obviously, you're going to have your Sidewinder, jump straight to hauler, then go to Cobra MK3. That should be your most ideal method of progression. If you're going to do combat, go Sidewinder, Eagle, Viper MK3, if you really want. Or you can just do the Imperial Eagle and kind of cut a little bit of the corner. You don't have to. I'd recommend just going straight to the Viper. So yeah, that pretty much works for that. The Cobra can do whatever the hell you want it to do. It's very flexible. It's a very quick ship. Not on the paper, the boost speed is higher than the Viper. This is true, marginally. Top speed of the Viper MK3 normal is a lot better than the Cobra. The Viper is not quite as maneuverable on paper. It's almost the same. And the Cobra is still a bigger ship. Viper has better shields, less armor. The Cobra has way less shields. It doesn't pay to do shields. Go straight armor, if need be. Jump range is considerably better. And the hull mass of the Viper is only 50 tons. Hull mass of this chunky bitch is 180 tons. That's a big boy. More so when you tack on all your cargo, because cargo actually adds to hull mass. Not hull mass, but it does add to your overall mass. I think that does actually affect the game in some capacity. Okay, so here we have the Viper MK4. take everything about the Viper Mk3 and add armor, bringing it to a stronger competitor. Basically, if we're talking about tonnage here, the Viper Mk4 is a heavier, more defensive version of the Cobra Mk3. So yeah, a Viper Mk3 is a formidable ship for its size, based off defenses alone. It's a very tanky ship. I don't recommend getting it because the Viper Mk3 is way faster and just generally a much more capable fighting craft than the 4. The amount of maneuverability you lose with it actually does matter. It may only look like a bar, but it's important. And for the price tag, just go with the Cobra. That's my honest thought. It's still a nice ship. It's a good ship. It's just, I've fought enough Viper Mk4s to know that it's good. It's just not as good as it could be. Moving on, because we already did the Viper Mk3. There's no point in doing the 4. The Diamondback Scout. This ship is a huge lie. This ship sucks. It is... If you want to do explorations, at this stage, when you're in the hundreds of thousands, leave the Diamondback Scout alone, and just stick to the Adder or the Cobra. Because this does not do nearly as good as it says it does. It can do the 30 light year jump range. So can the Adder, so can the Cobra. The exceptional maneuverability is the same as the Cobra. It is lighter weight than the Cobra by only a little bit, has more armor, and a little bit better shielding. Next to no cargo capacity, however. And it is stuck with small class hardpoints. I think all of them are small class. It has a class 4 in a lot of stuff, same as the Cobra. So, to me, it makes more sense just sticking with the Cobra because it is a better do-all ship. Or just stick with the Adder and fuck off, I guess. I'm not gonna kit this one because there's a better version of this one that costs a little bit more, but it's inherently better. Okay, so the Type 6 transport. This chunky boy here is expensive as fuck. Okay, 917,000 credits. It's expensive, yes. But what this big boy can do, cargo capacity-wise, will outdo a lot of other things. See, here in the text, it even says that it's a natural progression from the Cobra Mk3. So, this thing is a hauler craft. There's no way to go around it. So, here's what we do. We're going to kit it out. This beautiful thing has a huge canopy. So if you need to take it to the black reaches of space, by all means, knock yourself out. Starboard services, we are inherently going to outfit this thing as a cargo runner. So everything in the core, with the exception of the frameshift drive, is going to be Class D. Why? Because yes, because we need that jump range if we're going to be cargo hauling. What am I doing here? Get over here. Now, look at this. Look at that. Already. Frameshift drive. Alone. Without doing anything else to the ship. As it sits, the actual jump range is 28.6. That's huge. You could do space exploration in a Type 6, no problems, okay? If need be. I don't recommend it, but if need be, yeah, sure, knock it out. We get rid of these damn pulse lasers because we don't need them. We're better than that. We don't need them. Not where we're going. And at this level, with these ships, I'm sorry, you don't need a shield. Get rid of it. Literally, just get rid of it. Look at all that energy we have to play with, alright? Look at our jump range. Our actual is 30.26. Our minimum is still 24. That's huge. Now, let's go ahead and take a fat look at all the beautiful cargo we could slap on this machine for funsies. Sorry. It's been a while since I played this, so I do have to like relearn the motions because I'll just fly through options here and I won't even think about what I'm doing. So, alright. Now, this is the interesting part. This is where ships start to not have the self-docking feature. So, this is where you're going to have to start to learn how to fly your own ship, kind of thing. If you want, you can always get the, where is it? Hold on. Flight assists. Get you that advanced docking computer if need be. If you really don't feel confident in flying your own ship, get it. Save yourself the hassle. It's okay. But right off the bat, if we include that, we still get a big fat 108 cargo. Which, granted, is a huge jump compared to the Cobra, which was only maxing out at 60. We've added 48 units of cargo. That's a lot of money waiting to be made. So, if you need the extra power, you can go ahead and amp it up. If you've done anything with the engineers by this point, which I'm sure you have, get that FSD at least one level up. For that 15% buff. I'll even do you better. I'll give you 2 levels. Because realistically, you're going to do the 2 levels and then drop it right after. So, there we go. It is maxed out. We are not going to the 3rd level. There's no point. It's still 24.9. But our maximum would be 40. 2 levels of really easy, common to get materials. Our current is 37.53. That's fucking huge. You know what that tells me? We've got enough room to slap on a good power plant. Why? Because really it's not affecting our jump range much, and the heat efficiency for exploration is pretty damn buff. So get it. Yes, do it. Help yourself out. You can do the thrusters. I wouldn't recommend like Class A's, but I mean, hey, look, if you need to get away from people shooting at you, do it. Your power distributor is actually going to pull more. So, you know, alright, let's kit it out for a run, a high jump range runner that does a lot of cargo. Let's do that. Okay, our minimum jump range is 23.35 light years. That's still a considerable distance. You've got a pretty decent fuel tank to back you up as a 4 class, so it's pretty good. Your current jump range without anything in your cargo is going to be 35.77. That's pretty damn good. And 38.3 light years is the maximum. That's if you didn't have the cargo racks or anything. That's like optimal conditions. It's an expensive ship, yes. But, I mean, hey, for what it's going to get you, boogie, get over it. Because it's going to net you a lot more money than that Cobra will. And you could still turn around and sell the Cobra to pay for the ship. For this particular ship. So, what are you complaining for? That's all I gotta say about it. And you'll still have a little bit of money to spare, I think. I'll be right back. Alright, your captain is back. Alright. So, as I was saying, the amount of money you're going to make from the Type 6 is going to definitely outweigh what you spent over time. As long as you pay attention to what you're doing and you take the right kind of quests, and hell, I'll bring you to the mission board right now. With that 108 tons, we can bring all to a lot of places. Granted, I am neutral to all these factions, with the exception of the Los Chupacabras, oddly enough. But okay, look. Bam. This right here. This ship, go mine some Bromellite, which is really easy to get, and fucking roll with it. Just saying. And that's just on that one alone. You could do this one. Now, this one's a lot of black blocks and massacres, which I don't recommend for obvious reasons. Okay, Indite, right there. Bam, look at that. That covers your entire ship's cost. It's 212 units of Indite, so you gotta make 2 runs, but Indite can be got right here in the same system. Now, I realize that everything's discounted in Jameson Memorial. So everything's going to be a little bit more expensive when kitting out your ships in other systems. I realize that. I'm not dumb to that fact. I'm just telling you, what you can do with them. So please don't assume, if you haven't reached elite status and gotten to, Jameson Memorial in Shirata Desra, don't assume that you can't make these builds. You can. You just have to find the parts and in the ship in another system. It'll be a little bit more, but you'll be able to still make the same amount of money and pay the ship off within a couple of jobs, ideally. So, yeah, rock with it. Okay, so we're going back to the shipyard. Type 6 transporter. We did it. Okay. The Dolphin. This thing here. This is the first vehicle you're going to get your hands on that you can accommodate luxury tier passenger cabins if you're planning on being a space taxi. Lots of money can be made between exploration data and just purely doing the jobs. This is the ideal ship to start off with, although I do recommend the Orca, which is further down the line, vastly more expensive. The Dolphin does just fine, and it's only 250-ish thousand more than the Type 6. So work your way up and get this if you want. It does make for a half-decent exploration ship on top of that if you're looking to fly in style. I'm not going to do a build on this because it's basically an exploration ship with cabins. So take a cargo ship, a cargo runner, and just put cabins in it. It's the same exact thing. You don't even need the good engine or the thrusters because 99% of the time, there's no one chasing you on these low-end jobs. Okay, so skipping that, we go to the Diamondback Explorer. Remember the Diamondback Scout? Yeah, this is the better version of it. We're going to build this one. Okay, this ship can go the distance. Guaranteed 50 light years on the jumps. More than that if you build it properly. But let's go ahead and play with it here, and I'll show you what we can do. Right off the bat, we go to outfitting. This is a really good exploration ship, and it doesn't look ugly. To me, the Diamondback Explorer and the Diamondback Scout remind me of grasshoppers, the way they're built. I don't know why, but they just do. So we're going to shed everything between the optionals and the hard points that we will not be needing. So, sell it all. Shields, cargo racks, everything. The only thing we will put on this ship, however, we're going to browse the shop and we're going to replace this with a fuel scoop. Fuel scoops take a little bit of weight, but really not much. Put a 4A, save yourself the time. Okay. With that, you'll be able to scoop from any scoopable sun and keep your fuel tank nice and full as you go into the black. Okay, we don't need jack shit else. If you need anything besides a fuel scoop, you're flying badly. I'm just calling you out. Okay, get good. It's okay. I don't want to store that. Ew. Okay, we drop everything to Class D. I'm going to save the frameshift drive for last because that's a 5E frameshift drive and that bitch is fucking nice. So we're just going to go and do everything first before the frameshift drive. Because you get to see just how freaking sweet your jump range is once we get to that point. We don't need long range, since it's a waste of time. Don't waste your time. I've not, in this entire game that I've played for fucking, it feels like forever, probably a solid 10 years of playing this game, I've never once needed a freaking high-end sensor. I've done it for shits and giggles. Maybe not 10 years, I'd say 8. Probably 8 years. Alright, anyways, here we go. Notice our current is 17.49. 37.49. I rest my case, okay? Need we go any further? Of course we're going further. This is, you know, by the time you've gotten this, I can almost guarantee you've seen Felicity Farseer. Get them juicy upgrades. Let's go. Bam, right off the bat. And we're going to just bring it to level 2, just so I can showcase what this monstrosity is capable of. So with a 25% buff to the optimized mass of our long-range FSD, we are going to be flying at a big fat 46.44. Or, if you go according to the max, 50.64. Right off the bat. Boom. You will be kissing every star you want with just this build. And that's all you need. The higher you go with the FSD augments, the better the jump range is gonna be. It jumps up 10% each time beyond this point. So yeah, grab it, I guess. Max out the FSD for this thing. Okay, if no other ship, this one alone will get you everywhere you want to go in the Starship. So I rest my case. And you know what? You can go to the shipyard and let's see. For the grand price of 8 million, round up, please, always round up. 8 million. You have one of the best and most easily affordable exploration ships ever. Need I say more on that ship? But congratulations. We've gotten to the point where all of the ships beyond this point become bigger. So, I could do the Imperial Courier, but the best way I can describe the Imperial Courier is looking at the general layout of the summary. Compact vessel of the market is a lightweight combat ship from Guatemala. Its agility to rival the Viper Mk3. The Courier is adept at evading oncoming fire. My Anaconda begs to differ. 3 medium hardpoints. It's a chunky gunner. That's 6 small class hardpoints. Because it takes 2 of every higher it takes 2 of every lower class to equal a class higher. So 2 smalls equals 1 medium. 2 mediums, 1 large. 2 large, 1 huge. So, there you go. That's the equivalent of 6 small hardpoints, which is a lot of damn guns. This thing is very quick. It's nimble. I have to give it props. It is a very annoying ship to have to fight if you have a competent flyer. The medium hardpoints, you could slap whatever the hell you want on this and make it just fine. A lot of people like to put railguns because this is a very popular pirating vessel. I fucking hate pirates. The problem, this thing has great shields. Shit armor. As soon as those shields drop, any dude with a shotgun, a minigun, or a cannon is going to rip this ship apart. So, if you're going to spec it, give it a fuck ton of shields. Do yourself a favor. Make it as shield tanky as possible, because there's no amount of armor you're going to slap on this that's going to make a difference. I promise you. If we look at the internal optionals, it has shit for optionals. Like, there is no optionals here. We don't even classify what we have here as good. If we look at the core internals, it's horrible. But look at this. This is a horrendous array. Now, granted, the only benefit here is that it has a higher class power plant than the rest of its items. So it does have a fair bit of energy to spare. The problem is if you kit this thing out as is, no engineers, you'll never have enough power to run half the stuff you want to put in it. So be cautious with that. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to kit a ship like that because I'm not a fan of them. I don't even like owning them because it's just kind of like that weird ship that no one except pirates use. That's all I'm going to say. So the keelback skipping over the Imperial Courier, the Keelback is the Type 6 transporter with more armor. It's slower, less maneuverable, less jump range. Except for one small detail. This one can fit a fighter bay. So if you have someone flying with you, or if you've hired an assist flyer, they could protect you with a whole nother ship. You don't have to put any weapons on this. You'll have a fighter flying alongside you. So it's a good ship. I don't recommend it, as it is just the bulkier, slower version of a Type 6. But the fighter bay is nice. It's a good option if you plan on trading in pirate systems or pirate-filled systems. So, I'd say take your business to a better place, but, hey, that's not me. Of course, you can always make this into a bait tank, where you just make this thing as tanky as is humanly possible, and you let your fighter do all the work. You put turret guns on this, get your fighter installed, put a piece of loot in your ship, and just go to town, basically being just a giant space brick, and let your fighter and your turrets do all the action. You could do that feasibly. Now, I would be concerned with the overall health pool of this ship being subpar, but you could do it. The ASP Scout, right. So the ASP Explorer and the ASP Scout are essentially just like the Diamondback Scout and the Diamondback Explorer. They work the exact same. The Scout is a lie. It's a good ship, but it's not really good. It's a pretty ship. It's very maneuverable. And it has a decent jump range, but it is not designed for what it's supposed to be designed for. This would make just a hit and run ship. Honestly, I take this into combat before I take it into exploration. And it's not really even that good at combat, so it's a strange ship. Put railguns, harass someone's power plant, blow them up, I guess. The Vulture is an absolutely retarded little ship. It's a small class ship, but with 2 class 3 weapons. I'll say that again. 2 class 3 weapons. Now, for the price of 4.3 million, it's a hefty price tag. I will show you how to build this. Oh, I got a trophy. That's interesting. Oh, wait, right, because I don't normally own multiple ships at a time. I normally own 1 or 2. Anyway, I digress. Alright. So, let's go ahead and rock out in the outfitting. Look at these massive weapon ports for that tiny ass... No, son. Here we do miniguns, because minigun supremacy is where it's at. Observe. Look at this massive fucking weapon. Alright. Okay. Obviously, that was a very expensive purchase. So, this is a combat ship, in case that was not made clear. This is a combat ship. Shotguns are a perfect weapon to put on this, but for the sheer sake of funny, I'm going to put multi-cannons, because I love miniguns more than I like the shotguns. But put the shotguns. They're really good. Because this ship is extremely agile. You can pump off serious damage with this ship. Now, let's do the math. Remember how I said that for every class of weapon, it needs 2 smaller class weapons to equal the power. So, 2 larges equals 4 mediums. 4 mediums equals 8 smalls. That's huge, okay? So 8 small weapons, or 2 larges. Alright. So we have, this is the first time we get, outside of the Type 6 and the Keelback, this will be one of the first few times that we'll get a Class 5 optional internal. You need this. Now, contrary to what everyone's going to say, I put Bi-Weave shields on this. Why? Because you are a skirmisher in this little machine. You need all the help you can get when it comes to this. So a Bi-Weave shield generator is going to ensure that it's not a ton of shield, but you're going to be able to regenerate it quickly. Okay, so that's what you're going to want to do with that. As of course, you want hull boosters. Okay, see that 1000 hull integrity? It's fucking mint condition. Roll with it. Alright, you're also going to want to put a shield cell bank if you want. It's pretty useful. You don't have to put it if you want. Get you a module reinforcer. Why module? Because module reinforcers are going to protect all of your shit from failing. Put, yes, all of these. All of these can be module reinforcers. You're not going to miss out on anything, trust me. Except for jump range and a little bit of speed. We haven't even gotten into the core internals, alright? So, definitely pump up the thrusters. Max. Frameshift drive. We ain't going nowheres. Go to a D, alright? You get the ship brought to you in a system you want. Everything else is secondary. Power distributor, definitely kick that up to yes. Sensors. If you want the emission range up, I could say go for it. Frankly, however, yeah, just keep it at the D. It's okay. No one's judging you here. Alright. So that is the basic rundown of how you would build this. You should have plenty of energy to put utility mounts. Right, so utility mounts. What do you want? You could do shield boosters. I would totally say go for it because it's going to boost your shield. ECM, definitely pack at least one fucking ECM on this thing. You definitely want a point defense turret because, yes, if people are flinging missiles or mines your direction, you need something to shoot those down with. A heat sink launcher, just in case your ECM is not working. A heat sink and the ECM does the same shit, for lack of a better term. You could do a kill warrant scanner on. See, that takes a lot of damn energy, but you could still put a Class C kill warrant scanner if you want, or D, whatever, really. If you want to get a little bit more money for your kills, I'd still put at least one more point defense turret because I live by these things. They've saved my ass multiple times. So having two will definitely ensure that most missiles cannot hurt you. Oh, also, they do shoot limpets that are incoming. So, yeah. They're really useful. A kill warrant scanner, just for the shits and giggles, I'm going to put a C-class. Like that, it's pretty on par with the range for most of your guns in the game for its size. This will outperform a Viper. This will outperform a Cobra. This should outperform pretty much anything of its size class. The only thing it's not going to be doing is jumping very far. And I've fought Federal Corvettes with this. I have personally fought Federal Corvettes in war zones. So, it's good. The Federal Corvette is one of the big three. You have the Anaconda, you have the Federal Corvette, and you have the Imperial Cutter. Those are the big three ships capable of actually fighting, like aggressively fighting. You can fight a Corvette with this and harass them quite badly. Now, in a war zone, you often have people that are able to accommodate and help you and all that shit. I don't think this ship is capable of it, but let me see something real quick. Since it does have a Class 5 for its optionals, yes, that's military. I have to go to this one. This one does not have room for a fighter, so you're not going to be packing. That would be almost a little too much for this. The game does try to balance the ships out, but yeah. So overall, your ship's going to look somewhat. You're going to spend, I say, 13 million for this build. If you can get all the parts, you'll spend about 13 to 13.5 million to build this ship, which is not hard to obtain at all. So, rock it out, Here's the ASP Explorer, which is just like the Diamondback Explorer, the better version of its sister. Now, it's a medium-sized ship, so it's a little bit chunkier. It's definitely bigger. But it, too, can also achieve really good jump range. Okay. The Federal Dropship, right? This ship. I can't get one, but essentially, you're building this to be just a tanky fuck-off machine. For lack of a better term. It comes with a crap ton of weapon slots. So, it dishes out a shit ton of damage. And it's very, 4 mediums, mind you, and 2 smalls. 4 mediums, 1 large. So, this actually puts this thing more powerful than the Vulture. The only difference with this is it's not as fast and it's not as agile, but it is more tanky. So, at least in armor. Shielding, not quite so much. So you want to make this into just the fattest armored thing ever. All the armor. Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about shields half the time. Just make this into a whole tank and roll with it. The problem is, this ship costs just as much as I paid for the Vulture entirely. So there's a big price jump in that. I digress. Moving on, the Type 7 transporter. It's quite literally, it's the first large-sized ship you'll get. It is a space brick. I say space brick, I call this the Magic School Bus because of one of the paint jobs I have for it. It has a fucking huge cargo capacity. By default, it has more cargo capacity than the Type 6. You can have, I think it's 360 units of cargo at a time on this monstrosity, if all you do is cargo. Huge buff to space truckers. This is a fun machine. It has a half-decent canopy, as is the case with most Lakon Spaceway vehicles. So, rip off all the guns, take the shield off, slap up just straight cargo racks, get you a flight assist, a docking assister, please, because it's the first large class vehicle. There's such a huge difference between parking a large class vehicle and a medium or small. Do yourself the favor. Maybe even put you the class 4 shield generator for shits and giggles till you learn kind of what you can do with this. And then take it off and put another cargo rack once you're comfortable. Fuck tons of armor, next to no shields. So if you must, just put armor. if you absolutely must. I don't recommend it. Just put straight cargo racks, good frameshift drive. You should be bucking it at about between 15 to 20 light year jumps with a good FSD. Yeah, good ship. But let's see how long we've been going for here. An hour and 34 minutes. Yeah, I think this is good enough for now. I think having built these ships has reignited a little bit of the streamer in me. I've kind of hit a writer's block with everything. As in, I love this game, but I've done everything in it. As with most of my games, I've done pretty much everything that I could have done with these games. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to streaming a little bit more often. Doing some things a little bit more often. I realize I don't have a ton of viewers, but for all of you who do show up, you are greatly appreciated. And I think we're going to end the stream here with, leaving off on the Type 7 transporter. And I think next time we'll be here, I'll go ahead and continue the list. But yeah, you guys take care. Be safe out there. The world's a crazy place these days. And, oh, by the way, I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving for those of you who do celebrate it. And I don't know if I'll see y'all before Christmas or not. So if I do, cool. But if not, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And for those of you who don't do Christmas, a happy holiday, regardless. And to all of you, a happy New Year if you don't see me by that point either. So, but anyways, I'll be seeing you soon. Take care, guys. Take care.